Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new speedrun. In this speedrun I will be teaching you guys the accelerated dragon, which is an opening against 1e4. Against e4 we will be responding with the move c5 to Sicilian defense. And the accelerated dragon arises after we go for a quick knight c6 and g6 and bishop to g7, fianchettoing our bishop. So let's say knight f3, knight c6, d4, takes, and now g6. This is really the starting position of the accelerated dragon. In this speedrun, I will not only be teaching you guys the theory of this opening, but I will also be teaching you guys all of the plans and ideas. I hope you guys will enjoy it, and let's get started. All right, we're playing with black. All right, so he goes to e4. Now, what do? If we look at my username, we are going to be playing the Sicilian. Let's go c5. Why is Bach a dragon? Now he goes knight c3, and the nice thing of the accelerated dragon is that we can do knight c6 and g6 against almost anything. It's the best response. I kid you not, I'm not even saying that as like a sales tactic. I can even show you guys later with the computer, but knight c6 and g6 is generally the best setup because this bishop has this fully open scope on the diagonal. So he goes a3. I don't really understand the point of that move, but we're just going to stick to our setup with the move g6. Knight f6, by the way, also an option because he might want to do this, and then I have this little trap, but I like g6. Let's just go g6 and bishop g7. I think there he goes, bishop c4. We go bishop g7. He's probably going to go d3. Let's go e6 here. He's probably going to go bishop a2. Okay, he goes bishop f4. He's trying to take advantage of these squares. So d6 here makes a lot of sense to make sure that he cannot put the bishop here. I could perhaps go here, but then bishop d6 seems a little bit annoying because it's hard to get rid of that bishop. So I'm going to go d6. Simply stop this bishop from coming in and saying hello. Okay, so he goes knight b5. He's really eager to slide in. Now I can go e5 if I want to. I can go knight e5 as well. Let's see. We've got lots of options here. Knight e5 looks pretty decent. Because if I go e5, I open up this diagonal, and I would close the diagonal for my own bishop. So I think I like knight e5 the best. Let's go knight e5. Let's see what he's going to do. The reason, yes, great question in the chat. Knight c6 is a better move, and I explained this in my course as well. If you go g6, white also has the tricky d4, takes, queen takes d4. And then let's say after knight f6, there's bishop e3, knight c6, queen e2. That is a tricky line. That is a tricky line. So I like knight c6 much better here. All right, so he goes c3, but c3 is a bad move. Can anyone tell me why c3 is bad? Let's see who's paying attention in the chat. He created a problem for himself. Indeed, very good, Mr. Hype. We go a6. He cut off the escape route for his knight. He goes d4. Creating a little counterattack on my own knight, but now he's only aggravating his problems. So what do we do here with black? What do we do here with black? Let's see who's paying attention. Not a takes b5, Mr. Hype, because then he takes here with a check. My knight's under attack. To be fair, I could save it with knight d7, but he does get some compensation here. Indeed, we can take the bishop on c4, and this knight is still trapped. Great job, everyone. Great job. Some really good calculation. Good to see everyone participating and paying attention in the chat. And we win as quickly as in 9 moves. All right, so let's dissect this game. So e4, we go c5, knight c3. And we had a great question in the chat by, I forgot who it was, by Sleazy. So Sleazy asked, why not g6, bit of a hyper-accelerated dragon, instead of the move knight c6? But I believe if we go g6, as we see, the evil bar creeps up just a little bit. And this move d4 is tricky, believe me, because takes, knight f6. And besides the usual hyper-accelerated lines here with, let's say, knight f3, white also has this move bishop e3, which is a serious try for an advantage. Knight c6, queen e2, followed by f3, queenside castles. This is not easy at all. This is a very tricky line. All right. So I don't recommend g6. The move I recommend instead is the move knight c6. Anyway, he goes a3, and the nice thing is g6 here. I'm looking with the engine. is the best move. Which is, once again, why I really like the Accelerated Dragon. Because you get into this habit of always going for the fianchetto with g6 and bishop g7. Yeah, but no, great question, Sleazy. Really appreciate that. Because great questions in the chat makes the speedrun, only makes it better. So, okay, now we go g6, bishop c4, bishop g7, d3. And generally, we want to deal with bishop c4 setups by going for e6. By neutralizing this bishop on the diagonal. Also, we create a really nice square for a knight on e7. I very often see people go knight f6, but that is a slight inaccuracy. Once again, if they go bishop c4, e6 is going to be your go-to follow-up, followed by knight g e7. So he goes here, trying to slide into the d6 square, which is why I played d6 myself. He played knight b5, hitting this. And knight e5, slightly awkward, but the least awkward way to defend that pawn. I mean, I don't want to go bishop f8, for example. I also don't want to go e5, because then I open up this diagonal for that bishop. So, knight e5, a nice response, putting some pressure here. And c3, just a big, big mistake, because now after a6, his knight is just trapped. So that is just it. He's just losing a full piece. He goes d4, but like I said, that only makes things worse, because now we take here. This is trapped as well. And so my opponent already resigned. All right, so great job, everyone. We get a nice win, so let's keep going. Even though it's me making the moves, I appreciate the questions from all of you guys in the chat. Okay, so it goes knight f3. Now, the great thing is, we can go for like d5, but against knight f3, we can also go for an Accelerated Dragon setup. With c5, he goes g3 and g6, followed by bishop g7. Okay, let's go bishop g7, castles, and let's go knight c6. Okay, so he goes d3. So he's playing a bit of a reverse King's Indian. Now, what I really like to do here is the move e7, e5. You guys might be thinking, what? You might be like, what? Why would you block your own bishop? Or like, why would you do that, Mr. Bach? But once again, we're clearing up that e7 square for our knight. And we're getting a lot of space in the center. He goes c3, but it's going to be very hard for him to get d4 in. So let's go ahead and castle, and we can really grab the center with d5 here. And I actually don't see what's wrong with that. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's go d5. Let's grab a big center with black. He goes knight bd2. Now, a move that I generally like here is the move h6. You might be wondering, like, well, what is the idea behind the move h6? But I generally want to put my bishop on e6, and I don't want to be bothered by the move knight to g5. So he goes queen to c2. Now, let's stick to our plan. Let's go bishop to e6. What do you mean? Oh, the Dutch? I do not like the Dutch. It's very sad that we Dutch people got one of the worst openings of all against 1d4. But I just don't like the opening. Goes knight b3. We always have to pay attention. What is our opponent doing? He's hitting that pawn on c5. So let's go ahead and defend it. Let's go b6. And now we really see our strategy paying off brilliantly. Look at the space we have with black. Indeed, that is a... that is a big center for black, as some people are saying in the chat. All right, so let's see what he's going to do. Doing great here. Great question by Christine Murray in the chat. Do I think Lecco can get past Eric Geisy? It's going to be a tough match, but I definitely give the edge to Eric Geisy. Maybe Lecco can hold on in classical, but I think Eric Geisy should also be the favorite in rapid, so I just don't see Lecco beating him. I mean, I'm a big Lecco fan. He's great. But, I mean, obviously, I got to give the edge to Eric Geisy. But, I mean, it would be great for Lecco. All right, let's see what he's going to do. He goes a4, perhaps aiming to go a5. But, obviously, that doesn't even phase us. Now, I'm going to set a little trap here. Wait a second. There. Okay, I'm going to set a little trap here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Queen C7, simply improving my position. He's probably gonna do this, fall right into the cheese, I think. Does Dragon all? What do you mean? What do you mean random moves? Now he goes D4, but D4 is really odd because all of my pieces are well developed. They're all in good squares, so it feels like he's just not really well prepared for this central expansion. Okay, if I take here, he probably wants to take here. I can take. I can take again, but then he takes. So I think I should take here first. So let's take here. He might get bishop forward with tempo, but that doesn't concern me too much. I can go here. Let's go ahead and take, because once again, if I take, he can take. So let's go ahead and take here first. If he takes, I can take with bishop. He takes. All right, but now let's go ahead and take here, because I hit the knight, and he doesn't have a good way to recapture. He takes with the rook, which is probably the better way. But at the very least, I have bishop 5 winning an exchange. I could throw in c4 as well. He can maybe move the knight back. Bishop 5 is a very easy way to get an advantage. He can maybe take. It's not completely lost or anything. So let's see. I kind of like c4, but I wonder if this isn't... Like, he's gonna lose material. I'm just thinking, what is the best way to take the material? I'm just gonna keep it simple and go bishop 5. Pin the rook to the queen. But like I said, he will get some compensation if he takes here. Alright, because, you know, he's got the bishop pair. But okay. I don't have to take right now because he's in a pin. So let's go rook f8, bring my rook into the game. Let's see what he's going to do. He also does have bishop 4 with a tempo, but okay. Then I'll probably go here. Okay, so he goes bishop 4 as expected. Let's go queen d7. Once again, I want to keep this pin for now. Can always take here later. I don't... Okay, he goes queen d2. A good move, because I cannot take the rook, because then he takes my queen. He's getting out of the pin, so now is absolutely the time to take. Okay, he takes. Now, once again, it's absolutely the time to take, because the rook is no longer pinned or anything. Now we got to think a little bit. If I go knight e5, he might jump in with knight d6. I could take, because if he takes, I could throw in a check here. I can take. But he's got rook e1 at the end, and then I'm pinned, losing material back. And I don't want to entertain the stuff on this diagonal too much. So I think I'm going to keep it simple and just take here. He takes. Now perhaps I can throw a knight e5. I can also take here, which is just a free pawn. I think I'm simply going to take it. Let's take. Hitting the rook. I can always drop back. What are you saying in the chat? Okay, he's going here, hitting my bishop. He's also taking this, so let's defend both at the same time. Yep. Yeah, the World Cup is by far my favorite tournament to follow, and indeed, I also miss Diane. All right, let's see what he's gonna do. All right, let's see what he's gonna do. Christine, yeah, you know, here's the thing, Christine, great question in the chat. The hyper accelerated dragon is basically the same thing as the accelerated dragon, just through a different move order. The main advantage is that you avoid the Rosso Limo. That's also, by the way, what I explain in my course. All right, he goes 95, but 95, big mistake, because I can just take. Yeah, I can just take. I can also take here first. I kind of like this even better, because it would force some more trades. But let's just do this. For now, up a full piece. Yes, he takes, but he's losing 2 minor pieces to get the rook. Okay, well, if you're down material, don't trade. Rookie mistake. Don't trade when you're down material. All right, he goes 97, hitting my bishop, but doesn't do much. I think I'm simply gonna... I'll just drop it back. It doesn't matter. He didn't. The math was not mathin'. Exactly. Let him win? No. No. All right. Well, he keeps trading. Rookie mistake. Don't trade when you're down material. All right. You know, in an endgame, it's always a good idea to bring the king. So let's do that. All right. Let's see what he's gonna do. Goes knight c5. Let's go knight c6. Now I can move my king up. Hello, I'm Cora. Good to see you. Queen a5. I don't know, but I think castles is just the best move. Let's go here, hit the knight. See what he's gonna do. Who do I miss? It's Diam. It would have been his 30th birthday today. Do I think Diam was toe-to-toe with anyone when it comes to the 4th strongest Blitz and Bullet player? I mean, Diam, of course, he was a fantastic, fantastic player. But he would agree with me as well that he was not, let's say, the 4th best in Blitz and Bullet. In Bullet, though, okay, in Bullet, I would say, okay, let's go, wait, sorry, let me finish that thought in just a second. Let's go here. In Bullet, though, I would say it used to be Hikaru, Faruja, Magnus. Those are definitely the top 3. And then Diam. In Bullet, Diam was definitely number 4. I'd say very close with Bornik. Bornik also definitely up there. Actually, in the last Bullet Chess Championship, I bet almost all of my channel points on Diam beating Bornik. Bornik, I mean, make no mistake, he's an incredible Bullet player. I would just always see Diam beating him. But Diam was just having an off day and Bornik had a great day, so Bornik absolutely crushed him. All right, let's go here. No, but yeah, like I said, I'd say in Bullet he was definitely number 4, behind Hikaru, Faruja, and Magnus. But in Blitz he was up there, but not number 4. Yeah, I mean, okay, that I saw that he said that as well. Yeah, that he won many Freestyle Fridays, so he was hoping to get an invite at some point. That would be great for Bornik. To be fair, they do have their qualifiers. They do have their qualifiers. But maybe they could have like an extra spot for the qualifiers. Okay, let's go King c6. hit the knight. I really wonder though what's gonna happen with freestyle chess, because it's not turning out as successful as they thought it would be, and I wonder if it's gonna continue. All right, let's give a check. Let's create a second passer over here. All right, obviously this is GG. Nothing, just a very easy win, obviously. Okay, let's just push. Can simply just get a queen here. Push, push, queen. All right, well, let's just take this as well. Let's stay here. And now the easiest way generally to get a checkmate here. I mean, we already have one queen. We can just get another queen and go for the ladder checkmate. So that, oh wait. All right. Okay, so check and mate. All right, so good game. We get another win. And so here we see our opponent started off with knight f3, followed by g3. But the funny thing is here, even here, we can go for the setup with c5, knight g6, g7, and knight c6. This is perfectly fine. So if you struggle against the Reti or the King is Indian setup, you can still do your accelerated dragon. I kid you not. It's a good setup. d3, and okay, we can go d5, but I also really like e5. e5, followed by knight e7. You might be wondering, like, well, we block in our bishop, right? But once again, we get a lot of control in the center. We can follow with d5, or just, let's say, d6, and then like h6, bishop b6, maybe f5 in some cases. It goes here. But now, yeah, we take the opportunity to grab the full center with d5. He goes here, h6, aiming to follow up with bishop b6. And I'd say, generally speaking, if we get our development in here, black is just better. Oh, Andrew Tang, yeah, you know, Andrew Tang, of course, also really good. Andrew Tang, of course, also really good in bullet. Yeah, and I know. Okay, I'm sorry. Tang has, of course, also beaten Danya many times in bullet. I would still maybe rate Danya a little bit higher. I would maybe rate Danya a little bit higher. But Tang definitely, I think, was the better hyper bullet player. He also beat Danya last year in the hyper bullet championship. Was the score on Lichess? I don't know. Will I be playing the World Rapid and Blitz? Honestly, okay, there's some sort of issue, but it should be fine. So I kind of actually do want to play, but now they closed the registration. Anyway, here we're just better if we get all of this development in. Right here, b6, knight b3, just an odd move. He goes here. In general, you just want to continue improving your position with queen c7, rook a8, rook fe8. And black just is definitely better here. d4 is just not a good move. I take. He goes here, bishop f5, and he's simply losing material due to the pin. He goes here, rook e8. I mean, he got some compensation, but it was just never enough. I mean, it's a full exchange. I took bishop back, and now I just take, and now I'm up a piece. Being up a piece generally is better than being up an exchange. It takes. c4 where? c4 where? My Cora. Hello, Eastside. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. And once again, he really should not trade if he's down material. It's obviously going to make it easier for me. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Okay, great question. Let me pull it up. Okay, we get a queen, then we just get a second queen, and it's made. Now, good question. What would I do if he would go c4? If he would go c4 and lock it up, right? Now, I slightly prefer my setup because his knight in f3 is slightly off. My knight in e7 is on a slightly better square than this knight here. What I would do is I would just, let's say, castle, go d6, and maybe try to push for f5 at some point. So, like, let's say he goes here. I would once again go, let's say, h6, and then maybe try to get f5 in. I wouldn't say it's drawish. The position is just close for the moment, but I wouldn't say it's drawish. But I get what you're saying. I get it. You're worried that the position gets completely clogged, but you still can play for f5 if you want to open up the position. That's the usual pawn break to look for. I'm doing well, thank you. All right, anyway, we get another win. Let's go ahead and get the next game started. All right, so we're playing with black. By the way, how have you guys been enjoying the speedrun? Let me know. He goes e4, so now we're going to be playing c5, the Sicilian. d3, and here, once again, we can just stick to our setup. I think I have d3 covered in the course. Let's go knight c6, bishop b2, and g6, followed by bishop g7. Let's do that here. Okay, c3. Okay, so here we have some options. I could honestly just go the e5 again. I think I kind of like that. I think you're sleazy. Let's go d6 first. Although, yeah, maybe I should have gone e5. Perhaps I should, but I thought, okay, this might come with tempo. He goes a4. You can go knight f6, but I kind of like e5. You might be wondering, like, well, why do you do this? Why do you block your own bishop? But again, we get a lot of control in the center, and maybe we can go d5 later. He goes there. Let's castle. Okay, he goes there. Let's go. Let's once again go d5. Now I regret d6 a little bit, but it's not a big deal because here one tempo does not matter a whole lot. Black is just better. Knight e3, offering the trade of knights. I think I'm going to go knight f4. I think it should be slightly to my advantage to trade my knight for his bishop, even though his bishop is not doing that much. It is a defender of the d3 pawn, which now can get weak. And thank you to Plumberville for the 1,000 bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really hoping that the speedrun is a nice supplement to the course and that it adds to it even more. Okay, so let's take, I think this should be to my advantage. He's going to recapture. Now this is on attack. I mean, to be fair, after take takes here, I was thinking about b6 to stop him from going a5. But the problem is then I think he can take. I take, rook e8. And he can always get out of the pin by going queen f3 with a tempo. So I'm simply going to defend this pawn by going rook to e8. Yeah, my pleasure, DJ Shake Capone. All right, let's see what he's going to do. But a big shout out to everyone who's watching on TikTok as well. Don't be shy to say hi in the chat. Hello, Sonic. Hello, Musam. Okay, what? What is he doing? By the way, really appreciate all the follows on TikTok as well. Thank you. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so he takes. So let's go ahead and take the knight. It's just a free piece. All right. Nice, nice. Okay, he takes. Well, let's go ahead and take. That's just a free piece. Thank you very much. Hello, Sonic. Welcome. Okay, queen f3. Hitting this, but not too concerned. Go bishop f5. Let's go bishop f5, hit this. I mean, yes, he can take, but then I take. Or bishop h6, yes. Bishop h6, another mistake. Let's see who's paying attention. Why is this move a blunder? Not bishop takes h2, but you're looking at the right direction of the board. Queen h4, and the bishop is trapped in the corner. Threatening checkmate here on the h2 square. Yeah, no, that's right. Indeed, good job, everyone. All right, let's see what he's going to do, but now we're simply winning. All right, good stuff. We're just winning more material here. Hello, Alicia. Right now I'm in the US. Good question, Caesar. Yeah, well, I mean, I recall, well, the last couple of Bullet Championships, it was Ali Reza crushing it. So that's why I regard him higher. Anyway, let's see what he's gonna do. He's just losing more material now. But for everyone watching on TikTok, there's some issue, but not in the next stream, but the stream after that, I should be able to add my camera as well. Okay, nice. Dude, some, like, I get a, wait, what? Has anyone below I Am ever won Title Tuesday? Hell no. Maybe even like, I don't know if an I Am has won Title Tuesday. I mean, I'm sure that Ming has won, maybe the Terry has won. Alright, anyway, we get another nice win. And here we see once again, okay, so let's pull this up. So E4, we go C5, we bring out the horse, we go G6, knight here, bishop G7. And once again, it might seem very odd. You guys might wonder, like, why would you block, why on earth would you block your own bishop? Right now, the reason why I didn't go E5 right here is because I thought maybe he can go here, and if I go D6, he might go for a quick D4. Which is why I played D6 first, defending this pawn. I guess, he could have played D4 anyway, but anyway. A4, and now E5. This might look very odd. Right? You might think, like, why am I blocking my bishop? But I'm grabbing a lot of space. And I'm stopping him from going D4. So it's really all about the center. So he goes here, I develop my knight. He goes here, I get castled. And then eventually we're very happy if we can go D5 as well. Because this structure is generally just considered to be better for black. That's why we see the computer also giving black a minus 0.5 advantage. Because we have the pawns on E5 and C5 giving us more space. And white is the pawn on D3, which frankly is often a little bit weak. Right, this pawn can easily be attacked. It's on a half open file, easily attackable, and it cannot be defended by an adjacent pawn. He goes here, attacking my knight. I go knight f4, because I correctly, according to the engine, evaluated that it's a good idea to trade my knight for the bishop, then I get the bishop pair. And the pawn on d3 is getting even a little bit weaker. So he goes here, I simply trade, go rook e8. I'm defending the pawn, which he decided to take anyway, but I just take and win a piece, and now the game is just over. Bishop f5, I'm up a piece, and here he hangs another one because of queen h4, and it's just GG. Okay, so we're getting black. Let's see what he's gonna do. Hopefully e4, then we can play our favorite opening. Okay, so it goes e4. So I suppose some of you guys have been around here, so we're doing a speed run on the Accelerated Dragon, so we will play c5, the Sicilian. Now, I encourage everyone to participate in the chat. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to, especially when I ask moves, feel free to suggest moves in the chat, because you're going to learn more from active participation. So knight c3. Now, let's go knight to c6. And by the way, even if you miss a stream, all of this will be uploaded to YouTube. But anyway, knight c6 is very often going to be our second move, and that's why I really like this opening. We almost always go for the same opening. You're a Caro and Scotch player? Okay, nice, Kaido. Caro, not a bad player, but you might easily be cramped. All right, let's see what he's going to do. He goes bishop to b5. This move is covered. He often wants to trade his bishop for the knight on c6. We don't want to make that too easy for him, so we're going to be playing the move knight to d4. So we're hitting the bishop a little bit. Let's see what he's going to do. Bishop a4, okay. But already that move looks a little bit risky to me. And I can go e6, but I also really like this move a6. So with a6, I'm already setting a little trap. Does anyone have any idea what I have in mind with this move a6? What do we think? What do I have in mind with the move a6? Thank you, Kaido, for sharing the live. I appreciate that. Alright, he needs to be really careful here. He needs to be really careful. Let's see what he's going to do. or he's gonna be in a world of trouble. And guys, don't be shy to say hi. I'll say hi back. Hello, Trumden. Knight f3, big mistake. Okay. What do we do here with black? A knight f3. I think he's losing the game as early as move number 5. All right. We're just going to go b5. If he takes, I can take this, and I hit the knight and the bishop, so that would win a piece. I could also take here first. That's also fine. But let's go ahead and go b5. That was my idea, hitting the bishop. His bishop is under attack. Let's see what he's going to do. He goes bishop e3. Okay, what do we do now? I don't want to go c4 here, because then I hang my own knight. I don't want to take, then he's fine. But instead, what we do is we trade on f3 first. So then we can follow up with c4 and simply trap this bishop. So let's go ahead and take with a check. He's going to recapture with the queen. And it's kind of funny. Even though I've only made pawn moves, we're simply winning a piece here. Great job, Trumden. Okay, he recaptures the queen. And now we go c4, trapping the bishop on b3. And he's simply losing. Goes e5, tricky move. We always have to pay attention to what our opponent is doing. He's attacking that rook in a corner. So we're simply going to move it over. And his bishop is still getting trapped, so we're just winning a full piece here. Good job, Daniel. Appreciate you participating. He takes. Let's just recapture. Now my rook is active as well. And so we're doing great here. All right, now even though we're up a piece, we should definitely not relax. We should still try to play good chess. He goes d4. Now let's do a little en croissant. Take en croissant. You guys did not see that coming, huh? Or did you? All right, so we take en passant. He recaptures with the queen. And now, I mean, I still have to get my pieces into the game, right? Almost every piece is still on the back rank. So let's see, I can go queen c7. All right. And now I think I like d6 because, like I said, I want to get my pieces active. Spawn on d5 is annoying. It's stopping me from developing my knight. So let's go d6 so I can get my pieces out. All right, let's see what he's going to do. But it's clear that we're doing great here as we're up a full piece. But of course, like I said. Okay, bishop f4. I think I like the idea of taking so that I force more trades. I mean, yes, he can take. Oh, I was going to do this, but that runs into that. Very tricky. I can take, but then I'm kind of behind in development, so maybe I'll take. I mean, if I take, he's going to take. He's going to take maybe rook b7. Castles, king e8. I mean, I force the trade of queens. I'm up a piece, so I kind of like the idea that I'm forcing the queen trade. So let's go ahead and do this. And I still feel confident that after all of this, I will be able to get my king to safety. So he's taking, he's hitting my rook. I do not want to take, because then that falls in the queenside castles. Queenside castles. I would be in check, and I would lose my rook. So I think I'm just going to move my rook to the safe b7 square. And, okay, he's probably going to queenside castle. I'll move my king over to e8, and then I can follow with, let's say, f6. So let's move the king over and follow with f6. Yes, it might feel slightly uncomfortable for a move or two, because I have my king here. But, again, we're up a full piece, 95. I guess aiming to jump in, but now it's the time to push him back a little bit. Let's go f6. Hit the bishop. Knight c7 doesn't phase us. We go king f7. We have to be a little bit careful. Stuff like here and rook d8. So let's see what he's going to do. Okay, he goes there. All right, I'm going to go king f7, making sure that this does not come with a check. For non-jam, well, don't be scared, Kaido. All of you are safe here under my guidance. I mean, we're up a full piece. We're up a full piece, and the queens are off the board. So we're more than safe here. Okay, he goes rook e1. Okay, no e5, maybe he goes here. e6 also an option. He might jump in. Then e5 is an option to hit the knight. If he takes, I guess I can go rook a7. I kind of like that. I kind of like that this move comes with a tempo. We hit the knight. He has to respond to what I'm doing. Let's see what he's going to do. By the way, guys, don't be shy to say hi. Are you guys here, you know? Okay, he goes knight c7. He's hitting this, but I'm not too concerned about that. I kind of like e5. Let's go e5, because now I cut off the bishop. I am attacking the knight on c7. Hello, G. What do you mean, am I losing? I'm up a piece. I'm up a piece. +2. What is this disrespect? Okay, knight d5 on the board. Alright, I can go bishop e6 here. Or knight e7. I like knight e7. Once again, raw material, and when you're raw material, trades are good for you. So let's try to get some trades in here. Let's go knight e7. But good question. Hello, already Neff. Up a piece, but did you make any friends along the way? Well, alright, anyway. We're doing pretty well here. I can also take here. Okay, can also take here. He's going to recapture. Again, I'm up in material, so trades are fine. Let's go ahead and take. He recaptures. Let's get my bishop developed as well with tempo. And he goes rook d8. Okay, tricky move. Pinning me a little bit. Let's go ahead and take. Thank you, Dave. Okay, he takes. Now, I am pinned on the back rank, but I could perhaps go bishop to b4. Hitting this rook. If he takes, I'm going to take. He could maybe take. I can also go g5 and bishop g7. Also looks pretty fine. Maybe yes here. Rook. I think I'll just go here. I mean, I forced the trade. Kind of like that idea. Yeah, let's just go bishop e4, because it forces the trade. Alright, I hit this, I hit this. I mean, yes, he can take, but I'll take. Just for fun says bad move. Okay, why is that a bad move? Hello, am I a grandmaster? What is this disrespect? What is this disrespect? Alright, let's go ahead and take. The sheer and utter disrespect. Alright, he takes. Alright, I like king g8 here, because his rook does not have a lot of good squares, and I stop him from going here. Okay, rook h5, only safe square. He goes rook h4, but he was not paying attention. It's okay, Piggly. Yes, I'm a grandmaster. My username is literally GM Benjamin Bach. Do you think I was faking my username? But, well, we just go ahead and take the rook. Alright, good win. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this opening. Alright, so e4, we go c5. Just for fun, please say psych. Psych. There you go. Alright, knight c3, knight c6, bishop b5. So like I said, he's trying to take, and that's why the best move here is knight to d4. I have bishop b5, by the way, covered in the course, bishop a4, and here I like the move a6 because we're really setting up some trickery with b5 and c4. You have to go d3. b5 is not the big issue, but he has to make sure that I don't get c4 in as well. Alright, so he goes here, but this just loses the game because now I go b5 here, I take, and c4, and his bishop is simply getting trapped. Alright, he goes here, hitting my rook, but I just move my rook over, and his bishop is still getting trapped. Alright, he takes, I recapture here, en passant. And like I said, since raw material, I kind of like to get some trades in here, so I play d6. I took, now yes, I understand that I lose the right to castle. I'm facing a bit of initiative, but we're in an endgame, and we're up a piece. So when you're on material, trades are good for you. Quick question for everyone in the chat. Rook takes b2 might look like a free pawn, but why is this move a blunder? What do we do here with white? White to play. What does white do here? This move would be a blunder. Why? Let's see who's paying attention. Indeed. Good job. Good job, everyone. Here, white has queen-side castles, and we lose a full rook. Yep. Devilish little trap there. So just rook b7. He checks here, but yeah, he has a bit of initiative, but it's really not enough. I mean, we're just off a full piece. So I go here, hit the knight. Once again, trades are good for us. So go for the trade, take here. I take, and g5, good move. G5, good move. Nothing wrong with that. But again, since we're on material, I really like trade. So that's why I went here. He takes, I take, he takes here. But now his rook is really running out of good squares. He probably had to go here. The only good safe square, but then I was going to go g5 to cut off the escape route along the 5th rank, hitting his bishop, and if the bishop moves, then let's say bishop g4, and I think he's simply getting trapped. So that was my plan. But he goes rook h4, giving away the rook in one move. All right, so good stuff. We get another win. We move it to 1360. All right, and we're playing with black against GM Rashan. We're playing against the Grandmaster. Bach has a soothing voice. Thank you. All right, against e4, we play c5, the Sicilian. Knight of 3. Now, who's been paying attention? Who has been paying attention? What do we do here? My username is Bach Accelerated Dragon. We want to play the Accelerated Dragon. What do we do? Come on. Active participation. G6 is the Hyper Accelerated Dragon. That's the alternative. It's the Hyper. Another option, but my main recommendation is the move Knight c6. Great job. Great job. Excellent, everyone. He goes d4. Whenever you see d4 in the Sicilian, you take. He's going to recapture. And now we go g6, followed by bishop g7, the Accelerated Dragon, Knight c3. And I feel like this could be one of the very first games where we can really show the Accelerated Dragon and its potential. Bishop g7, attacking the knight. Bishop e3. So here's the thing. After g6, your next move is almost always going to be bishop g7. And then here, your next move is almost always going to be knight f6, developing the knight, putting some pressure here. Let's see if he's going to try to go for the Yugoslav attack with moves like f3, queen d2, and maybe bishop c4. Then we can really show the potential of the Accelerated Dragon and why I teach you guys to play this opening. He goes f4. Okay. So let's think. Maybe he wants to take, let's say, a castle, which is a very normal move. He might take... Whoa, thanks to Caroline. Thanks to Caroline for the rate of 20. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Appreciate the rate. We're doing a speedrun right now, so all of you came in at a great time. So I'm playing some games as we go along. So right now my rating is 1368, and we're going to try to push that up all the way to like 2000 or maybe even 2500. But thank you so much for the rate. Appreciate it. And thanks, Spice, for giving a shout out. All right, so good castle here, but maybe white can take. And if I recapture, then pawn to e5, hitting my knight. And I don't really want to go knight e8 because that's a little passive. So I might go d6 here to stop white from taking, and then e5. All right. Okay, so let's see what white is going to do. But with the move d6, now I also open on my bishop, so I have ideas of knight g4 potentially, hitting the bishop and increasing the pressure on the knight. Okay. All right, so he goes e5 anyway, but we've just prepared for that. So now I can take, by the way, knight g4 also a move, hitting the bishop, but the bishop might just drop back. So I think I'm going to take, white can take. I think I will trade. Wait, so take. If I take, white recaptures, I take here, and then if white takes, I can go knight g4, hitting this and this, which looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and take. If white recaptures, now it's a lot easier. We can simply take the pawn, so let's go ahead and do that. And now we're doing really well, as we're simply up a pawn. Hello, Isa. Yes. Notice sure, the last stream was pretty short, because I had to run, because I had to do a lesson. And as you guys know, I take my lessons very seriously, but that's why we're continuing. So bishop e5 check. Let's go bishop d7 to block. All right, he takes. Let's recapture with the queen. Okay, so knight db5. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate that. The shank charges a lot. I'm not as expensive as the shank. All right. I think I'll just castle, but then I might hang this. How tall am I? I'm like 7'2". All right, he can take castles. That's our castles. Go king c8. 94 perhaps. On a serious note, I'm 6'3". I'm 6'3". All right. Can also go queen c6. I might like queen c6 better because I hit this. Let's go queen c6. I like that move better, hitting the pawn on g2. And perhaps I can go knight to c4. All right, but actually 6'3" is not that much taller than the average person in the Netherlands. All right, let's see what he's gonna do. Lamau, you're so tough, bro. Thank you. Caleb says on TikTok, Ben is not 7'2". He's lying. He's more like 4'3". All right, knight takes a7, hitting the queen. All right, let's go ahead and take the pawn. Hit the rook. Is my birthday command broken? It's actually not, Joe Brune. To tell you the truth. Okay, rook g1, big mistake. Big mistake. Big mistake. It's not broken. It's just set to today's date. It's set to today's date. Like to whatever day it is today, if that makes sense. So tomorrow it'll say November 10th. Yep, in the rook g1, big mistake is now we have knight f3 check, and he's losing a ton of material. So now we're going to have to force to give up his queen. Alright, he takes, let's recapture. I have box stream up on 4 tabs on 4 platforms because he is so much aura. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wait. Hall of Fame Glazer. That funny nickname. Alright, so good win here. Alright, so let's analyze. So e4. I really like the accelerated dragon. It's been the opening I've been teaching to pretty much all of my students at this point. And by the way, credit to where credit is due. This is an opening. I actually got this from Diane because he was teaching it in his speed runs. And I was like, hey, you know, that's a really great and effective opening, especially for beginner intermediate players. So then I started teaching it myself as well. So e4, I like c5, and then against almost everything white does, we can go knight c6 and g6. The setup is pretty good. By the way, really credit where credit is due. Daya told me he got it from Caden Trough. Thank you to Obtushi for the raid with 7. Thank you so much. Another raid. Dang, everyone is sending their raids over to me. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so what do we do here is we go knight c6. And against d4, we take and then g6. By the way, so a couple of things. If you're an absolute beginner, if you're watching the stream and you're an absolute beginner, I recommend that you meet e4 with e5. Just play symmetrical. And then you meet d4 with d5. However, if you want to switch it up a little bit, especially if you get around 1,000 or maybe a little bit higher, then at some point I really recommend looking into the accelerated dragon, because you avoid the symmetry, and it's a really easy opening with knight c6, g6, and bishop g7. Okay, so knight f3, we go knight c6, d4, we take, and then g6, follow with bishop g7. Once again, it's good against almost everything white does. Knight c3, we go bishop g7, bishop e3, and now we develop the other knight. So this is almost always going to be our next move. So he goes f4, tricky move. Now, like I said, I was initially considering to castle. Oh, thank you, Obtuse. Yeah, of course. I mean, I very rarely stream anything other than chess, so but thank you so much for the raid, appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream. And once again, welcome to you, welcome to all the raiders. Really appreciate it. Okay, so here white said he was to follow with e5, and my knight did not have a good square, and I had to go back to e8, which is why I played d6, taking the sting out of the e5 push. Now, my opponent decided to play it anyway, but now we just take. He recaptured, now I take, and I just win a pawn, which is why we were calculating knight takes c6. I can take right away, but then white takes, and I lose the right to castle. My king would be stuck in the middle. We don't really want that. So instead, I would have taken here first with check. White would recapture, and then I take. And if white takes now, attacking my knight, now we have knight g4, hitting the bishop and the pawn, and so we win a pawn. I hope all of that makes sense, by the way. If anything does not make sense, please, let me know in the chat, and I'll be happy to explain more. Good to see you, G Photos. G Photos, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Well, E5 Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame Glazer still makes sense, but I was really surprised that he played C6. But G Photos, you know it's not my birthday, right? All right, he takes, now we take, and we win a pawn. All right, so here. Yeah, great question in the chat. What is the difference between the accelerated dragon and normal dragon? We'll go over that very soon. So bishop e5, we block with bishop d7. All right, he takes, we recapture, knight b5, not a bad move. Hitting this also, if he would take, I cannot recapture the knight because he has the fork. But I like this move, queen c6, creating the counterattack. Where's the microwave? I have a microwave here. Do you guys want to see the microwave? Let me know. Yeah, here he just had to castle or queen e2. After which, I'm much better. I would even say winning. But he made a big mistake by taking. Now we take here, hitting the rook. Rook f1, strictly the only move. Because here's the thing. You always have to pay attention to your opponent's threats. This is not my only threat, hitting the rook. My other threat is here. So he had to go rook f1, but instead he goes here. And now knight f3, check. And yeah, by the way, I'm not actively building the academy anymore. But maybe at some point I will start up my own academy or something like that again. And yeah, he had to give up the queen, which is obviously completely losing. He went here, but now I would have taken here, winning even more material. All right, so good stuff. We get another win. All right. Great question in the chat. Somebody was asking me, what is the difference between the accelerated dragon and the normal dragon? Apocalypse saying, I love these streams. I always play the modern fans or accelerated dragon, and it's cool to see. Yeah, you're well. My pleasure, Apocalypse. So here's the thing. There's not a super big difference between the accelerated dragon and hyper accelerated dragon. So the accelerated dragon arises after, in both cases you meet e4 with c5. And really the point of c5 is that you stop white from putting a second pawn in the middle, because when they do so, you get rid of it. After knight f3, the hyper accelerated dragon arises after g6. It will very often lead to the same thing, because let's say white takes, we can still take, knight takes and go knight c6, and now we're in the accelerated dragon again. We're just through a different move order. So often there's no difference. However, let's say you start with knight c6, right? Like I said, if white goes d4, takes, we're in the accelerated dragon that you could reach through two different move orders, either start with g6 or knight c6. But with the move knight c6, you do allow the move bishop e5, the Rosso Limo. This is not a big problem. We're going to play g6 anyway, followed by bishop g7. However, if for whatever reason you get tired of the Rosso Limo and you want to avoid it, that's when you can play g6, because now bishop e5 doesn't make much sense. It's not attacking anything. However, g6 allows some other options. First and foremost, it allows d4. And now queen takes, attacking the rook in a corner right away. So that's one big difference. The other big difference is that white can play c3 here, followed by d4, which is a little bit different than c3 on move number 2. Because here I recommend knight f6. I hope that makes sense. Does all of that make sense to everyone? If anything is unclear, please feel free to let me know in the chat. I hope I'm not like overloading all of you guys with information. But I hope that makes sense. Hello, Caleb. Good to see you. Hello, BDH Chess. Good to see you in the chat. BDH Chess. Huh. All right. Yeah, good question. What is the best response when that queen is attacking? Yes. Yes, okay, so just to make things clear, my main recommendation is knight c6. I don't like the hyper as much because of that line. But if you do want to play the hyper, okay, here's the thing. I only really recommend the hyper if you don't like the Rossolimo. If you have a problem with the Rossolimo, then play the hyper. But if white does go into this, you should play knight f6, because you develop the knight and save the rook. And then if white goes e5, you have knight c6 developing this knight with tempo as well. But and then, okay, then go queen a4, for example. You go knight e5. Black is fine in all of these lines, but they can be a little tricky. Anyway, we get a nice win and move up to 1376. Let's move on to the next game. We have an opportunity to cross. If we win this game, we hit 1400. This might be the last game of the stream. e4. Okay, guys, what do we do? Let's see who has been paying attention. How do we meet e4? We go c5, the Sicilian. Excellent. Not e5. We go c5. Lord. Yeah. Knight f3. Who has been paying attention? What do we do here? After knight f3, now we go... Come on, guys. No, not h5. We go knight c6. Excellent. Good job. Good job. We bring out the knight as well. All right, bishop c4. So here he's bringing out the bishop. There's a couple of things that we could do. One thing that we can do is we can go e6. e6 is fine here to block the bishop. We can also still go g6 followed by bishop g7. Nothing wrong with that either, whatever you prefer. But let's go... Fine, let's play it in the spirit of the accelerated dragon. I think g6 is fine, but e6 is, by the way, the move I recommend in my course. But fine, we'll deviate that. We'll deviate from that for now. Okay, so let's go g6, follow bishop g7. All right, he goes d4. What do we do once we see d4? We take. That's the whole point behind c5. It's going to recapture. And now we go bishop g7, bring the bishop out to the long diagonal, or we're going to try to do some damage. Let's see what he's going to do. He takes, and when he takes, we almost always recapture with the b pawn. Actually, d takes c6 would have been a blunder. It would have lost the game as early as move 6. Try to use your visualization here. Question everyone. Why would have d takes c6 been a game-losing blunder? Why does this move lose the game? Indeed, why does bishop takes f7, check, and if we take, we would lose the queen. So b takes c6 was forced. Right, he goes bishop e3, but we can take. He's got here, but I don't think it should be enough. Let's go ahead and take. It's a free pawn. Guys, do not underestimate this bishop on the long diagonal. Bishop d4, okay. I can take, he can recapture. I can throw in this check. Goes here, I can... Oh, wait, but I might have that. Yeah, I like that. I like the check. I like the check because it's really awkward to meet. I like the check because he's going to have to make some weird move like here or here. If you go c3, I think I have e5 hitting this. Like queen b3, I can take. This does not really phase us. We just move the king over. So let's go queen a5 check. Because it's a really awkward move to meet. Because he cannot block in a good way. He goes knight c3, but knight c3 loses a ton of material. Because now we can just go ahead and take the knight with check. He takes, but now we take with check. And he's losing even more stuff. He's losing the bishop as well. So it's already game over as early as move 10. Guys, I'm telling you, do not underestimate the dragon bishop. Yep, do not underestimate the dragon bishop. And he did. And now he's paying the price. Unk. I guess unk is just a play on bro. Like, at some point, everyone was calling each other bro. And somebody came up with the word unk. Yo, what happened to my rating? We're doing a speedrun. Okay, king there. All right, let's take the bishop with check. We're taking more material. King g1. You know what? I'm feeling very greedy. Let's keep snacking. Let's take the pawn. I could have also developed the knight, but let's go ahead and take. Yes, he doesn't have to do anything. If he doesn't want to resign, that's fine. h3. Okay, let's develop. At least 6 and 7 are real words. All right, let's go ahead and castle. All right, king h2. Let's go ahead and give this check. Because now we force him to make an awkward move. Either king back or block, but that weakens the king. You think I'm in a winning position? Yeah, it's tough to say. All right, let's go d5. Bring out our other bishop to life as well. And let's go queen f5 with a double attack. Because now we're hitting h3 and f2. All right, but now we're really spoiled for choice. Let's go ahead and take here, checking the king. Just the step back only move. Yeah, so Foo's chess, I offer the hyper as an alternative. But my main recommendation is 2 knight c6. Okay, let's go knight h5 because he's having a really hard time defending this. We're threatening checkmate. Goes rook e2, but now we have checkmate. All right, so good stuff, everyone. And now we reach 1400. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Let's have a look at this game, but it was over very quickly. All right, so e4, what do? We go c5, knight f3. We almost always follow up with knight c6, bishop c4. And we can also go e6 here, blocking the bishop, but g6 fine as well, going for the fianchetto, the accelerated dragon setup. All right, so he goes d4. Whenever we see d4, we take. But the reason why I think g6 is perhaps a slight inaccuracy, because I think he has the move c3, followed by d4, which is a little bit awkward to meet. All right, but he goes d4. Whenever we see d4, we take. He recaptures. We go bishop g7, hitting the knight. He takes. Like I said, we almost always recapture the b pawn, because also this would have been losing the game. Do the check. We have to take, and then we lose our queen. So we take with the b pawn, but bishop e3, big mistake, as he's simply hanging this pawn. And he had to go knight e2 here. Bishop d4, queen a5, best move, because he doesn't have a good way to block this. Like, he has to go king f1, but he doesn't really want to do that at all. c3, by the way, I was thinking e5 here. Yeah, because I hit the bishop, I hit this as well. If he goes here, he loses a full rook, which is really a lot. But he goes here, he loses a knight. And now also a bishop, and it's just completely over, because we're up 2 minor pieces and also a couple of pawns. All right, so we just develop. And yeah, when you're up a lot of material, it's really simple. You just develop, create little threats, and your opponent is simply not going to be able to defend against your threats, because he doesn't have pieces to defend himself with. So we take, we go here, and now we got the checkmate. All right, so great stuff. We reached 1400. If the bishop was on e2, no, I'd still go b takes c6. As a rule of thumb, you go b takes c6. Now, as I might have said before, I had a course come out in the Accelerator Dragon a while ago, so I hope this speedrun serves as a nice supplement to the course, as you can see it being played out in real games.